Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, wherever you're watching me, you join us from in today's lecture from Nkolo Mahadum Wisdom University. My name is Dr. Bioramba, and today's date is Nkwo Market Day in the 11th month of the Igbo lunar calendar called Onwa Ajana. And today's date in the Roman Catholic calendar is December 3, 2024. And thank you for joining us again at Nkolo Mahadum. Invite your friends and family members to join us in this lecture. Remember, at Nkolo Mahadum Wisdom University, we encourage you to always use your common sense, which we call Akonuche. And we have also maintained that if the North American media means the media in America and Canada, and then the Chinese media, Russian, Australian, Japanese, Arabic, that is the media from the Muslim world, if they are presenting information to benefit them, the same way we at Nkolo Mahadum will also package and present lectures from Biafran and African perspectives. That is how it affects you, how you as a Biafran and African should be interpreting information. And we encourage you to please subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, comment, like, and then share this lecture to your friends and well-wishers. Our topic today is that the Tinubu government should cancel the agreement with France to mine Nigerian minerals. Our topic today is to advise the Tinubu government to cancel the agreement with France to mine Nigerian minerals. All of us are aware that President Tinubu just came back from a state visit from France, and people were wondering why he was lavishly welcomed and entertained in that visit. And now some of the results from that visit have begun to emerge. And one of the results is the agreement that allowed France to come to Nigeria to mine minerals. And that's why we are here at Nkolo Mahadum advising the government to cancel that contract. Before we continue, we have to let you know that the population of France is only 66,591,648 people. And the size of France is 547,557 kilometers squared. In miles, 413 square miles. That is the size of France. While the population of Nigeria is estimated to be 234,704,101 people. And the size of Nigeria is about 923,769 kilometers squared. And in miles, it is 356,669 square miles. And you can tell from the numbers that Nigeria has a population of almost 4 times that of France. So if you have 1 person in France, you have 4 people in Nigeria. That is how much more Nigeria have more people than the French people. Also in the size, the geographical size, Nigeria is almost twice the size of France. So you can see that France is actually a small country, but they were able to conquer many lands and people in Africa. So when you hear about scramble and partition of Africa, the scramble means when they were fighting for lands and people, for lands in Africa, you know that when they take your land, you that live in the land is also taken. So when you hear scramble and partition of Africa, the scramble part is when they were fighting. They came from Europe, both Britain, both Portuguese, both Belgium, both Britain, all of them came from Europe and fighting for lands in Africa. So they were able to conquer a lot of lands. And then the partition was when they went to Berlin in 1884 and shared those lands that they conquered already to themselves. And that was how the countries we have in Africa today emerged. And so with that in place, the French now controls about 9 countries in Africa. From that artificial colonial boundaries they drew, the partition part in Berlin, Germany in 1884. And that gave France countries like Mauritania, Senegal, Mali, Guinea, Ivory Coast, Burkina Faso, Benin, and Niger. And so France has been in control of these countries, ruled them from colonial times to independence, to flag independence, and till today, because no African country, including the ones given to France, have economic independence. All of them have flag independence without economic independence, which means the colonial power, like France, is still the one controlling the natural resources, all the money, all the political government, everything going on in those countries. But recently, from the experience of most of those countries, because when France being in control up to today, you know, they have been using policies like assimilation, which assimilation means imposition of French culture on those African people, on those colonies that they scrambled and partitioned and was given to. So they imposed their culture on you. And that imposition, the term the French use is called assimilation, where they will impose their language, their religion, their form of government, their dressing, the way they eat, the banking and finance, everything about the life of the people will be modeled towards the British, towards the French. That is French culture. All of them will be imposed on the people of Africa. That is called assimilation. So the more French you are in Africa, the more you are accepted as being, you are given actually, as they say that even the more French you are, that is, they will give you French citizens. They measure your citizenship based on how much French culture you have demonstrated to have. Isn't that funny? But that's what they've been doing. So they control everything. And even they make the countries, the colonies, keep their reserve in France. And before they can take money from there, they take it as a loan. Not only that, all the contracts in the country must first of all be given to a French company. So the French government, business cartels, everything are in control of the colonists. They were giving them chicken change. They were impoverishing them, exploiting them. And so, and even causing insecurity. Because the areas they even say that they are protecting, they work with some of these Muslim insurgents, the terrorists. And so, even the terrorists they're saying that they are fighting against got worse in most of those countries, like in Burkina Faso, like in Niger, like in Mali, even in Chad. And so recently, countries like Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, Chad, and even Senegal the other day are sending French government, France people away from their country and taking control of their country. That has been going on for some time now. Even there was a time when the Tinubu administration came in, they were advising the Nigerian government to go to war with those countries. So the question is, why is it now that other countries that are being administered, that being the colonies of France, are driving French people away, driving the French government away, that the Tinubu administration went forward to bring them into Nigeria? That's the question that everybody should be asking. Why now? And we at Nkolomadu, we are suggesting that the Nigerian government should cancel that agreement for the following reasons. Number one is that it will not benefit the Nigerian people economically, because you will know the taste of the pudding from the taste. You will learn from the other African countries. If France partnership with other countries did not benefit those countries and they're chasing them away, how do you then think that by you partnering with them, that it will benefit you and your people? So that's how you know that it will not benefit the Nigerian people economically. Secondly, it will also increase insecurity. You know that the people of Burkina Faso, Mali, Chad, they have experienced French presence in their countries. And there was much worse insecurity when the French companies are mining their resources. So insecurity will be worse if France is allowed to come to Nigeria to start to mine those minerals. The third reason is Nigerian government should train the Nigerian people to learn how to mine. How can Nigerians mine their own resources? If Nigerians mine their own resources, at least you will have complete knowledge of how much resources that you are mining. It will not be stolen much. It will decrease unemployment. And the government will have more money because now they are in control of all the resources that is they are mining. But when you sell it to a foreign company, like the companies from France, they will not be telling you everything that they are getting from your land. And finally, we are suggesting that Nigeria follow the footsteps of Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, who have completely taken control of their economy, their freedom. And I think 2 of those countries have actually cleared all their foreign and local debts. They don't have any debts right now. Plus Nigeria romancing with IMF and World Bank, borrowing money every day. And now you are again entangling yourself with a colonial master like France, which other African neighboring countries are driving away. We at the Colomado think that it's a wrong move in the 21st century. And because we are conscious of time here, the takeaway from today's lecture, before we get to the takeaway, we advise you again to please subscribe to our YouTube channel, like our lecture, share it, comment, and notify your friends and well-wishers about Nkoloma Hadum Wisdom University. Notify them, because every lectures we are packaging here is for your benefit. And so to recap, Nkoloma Hadum Wisdom University is calling on Nigerian government to cancel the current agreement with France to mine the minerals in Nigeria. Because France is a small country. Nigeria is almost, the population of Nigeria is almost 4 times that of France. And the size is almost twice as France. It's a small country. Is it because they have the gun and had the will to come from France to scramble for land with the other colonial masters like Britain, Portugal, Belgium, and others? Is it because they have the gun? They're able to come to Africa and subdue African lands. And when the lands were partitioned, they were partitioned to their favor, that they are controlling the artificial boundaries they created in countries like Mauritania, Senegal, Mali, Guinea, Ivory Coast, Burkina Faso, Benin, and Niger. And they impose French culture on those people. They measure they will give you citizenship based on how much you have received their culture, with changing you from whom you are to what they want you to be. The more you are changed to what they want you to be, to French culture, that is how they will give you even French citizenship. What are you doing with French citizenship? Why you have left your own culture behind? And so Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, Chad, and Senegal are sending the French away. Why is it now that Nigeria is trying to bring them in? And Nkoloma Hadum is advising Nigeria to cancel the agreement because it will not benefit Nigeria economically. Even security-wise, insecurity will be worse when French companies start mining in Nigeria. Nigeria should train their own citizens to learn how to mine their own resources. In that way, it will create employment for the youth. It will give the government more control of their resources. It will help the government to pay off all these debts that they are getting from IMF and World Bank and other places. And Nkoloma Hadum Wisdom University is advising the government to toe the footstep of Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, who have completely taken over their own country, paid off all their debts, both international and local, and managing their economy by themselves. That is what all Africans should aspire for African countries to do. Even though the countries you call in Africa are artificial boundaries, created out of artificial boundaries by the partition of the colonial masters. But taking control of African resources by Africans, taking control of all the economic activities in Africa is what all Africans should fight and make sure that we do as quickly as possible. Because without it, we shall become slaves forever. And with this, we shall be bringing today's lecture to an end. Thank you very much for joining us. And